Welcome to the Plus Party, everyone. We're going to do a watch-along video of the first episode of the Imagineering story, the documentary series on Disney Plus about the history of the Disney parks and Walt Disney Imagineering. Joining me for this watch-along and as well the review video this week, Nick is here. Pete.
Hey, Sivako.
And Eric.
Hey, howdy, hey.
So yes, this is the crew. In this video we're gonna be watching the show.
Yes.
So we're literally gonna pull up Disney
sure?
Plus. We're gonna watch. Well, this has been a process to get to this point. I'm gonna tell everybody about what happened. If you watch News Tonight, you never believe it because we're always on time with that show. But you wouldn't believe it. So at first we tried to stream from the computer that runs the show to this big TV that's behind the camera, so we could watch. That didn't work. And then Pete had to drive all the way home to get a Fire Stick. We tried that. Disney Plus is having technical problems only with the Imagineering story. Just the Imagineering story.
Story checks out.
Yep, and so now we're back. There's a laptop precariously placed under a table in our regular studio area. You can't see it. But Nick is not mic'd yet because Nick is going to have to run from this spot to under the table to make sure that the show begins. And Nick, I think we're ready to begin. So for those of you at home, I'm gonna tell Nick when to hit start. That's if you want to watch the video on your Disney Plus along with us at the same time. You can do so at that point. That'd be when you could start. If not, you could also just watch us be idiots for an hour and watch this show without doing that. Nick, are you ready?
You should watch along.
He's under the table.
Why don't we do a countdown for them? Like,
you want to do a countdown?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, all right.
What are they going on?
So you have to go. You're gonna go on. We're gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press play. Like so. After one, we'll say play. So if you have, you're getting set up right now. Imagineering.
Here's the fun thing: you can pause this to get ready. So
Also, you can do that, but we'll give you a minute. Okay. Ready? Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Play.
Oh, there we go.
So exciting. It's working.
We are now watching the Imagineering story. It froze.
Oh, if you're watching at home. Okay.
Oh, wait, there it goes. It's going.
1 second lag.
Within these walls,
Something like that.
an eclectic group of creative people bring ideas to life. Outliers flourish here. A place best described.
There's a lot of
as
Disney
the
Parks
art
cups.
studio,
There are.
design
Do
center,
they give them Disney Parks cups at WGI? I didn't
They
know.
take the leftovers.
We need a vision board like that.
signs build the happiest places on earth.
I just love anything color coded.
Imagineering.
Absolutely no photography. I wonder why they have that sign, Tom.
Oh, there's the shaman. The shaman animatronic from
Like in the
Pandora.
morning.
Oh, that's the Soarin' Fantastic Flight mural she was carving
Batu.
for Disney Sea. Yeah, Batu.
Pretty sure they just showed my dental work.
Oh, remember when they were going to have roaming droids in Star Wars?
They exist somewhere.
They do. Whoa, that's stretchy.
Things that didn't get great until the very end. These projects, these places,
Model
these
shot?
attractions, often how it's being made is extremely interesting.
The original Instagram model.
Increase the level of appreciation.
Wow.
But what we want people to appreciate is the perfection of it all.
Oh, that's such a pretty shot.
I'll be there in a couple days.
This is hard work.
Be in Paris this weekend.
Of course you will.
Of course. It ain't no Tokyo though.
It's Shanghai. It's a terrible place to go. No one should
Okay,
go
be
there.
nice.
Very bad mystic
I didn't enjoy it. Sorry.
What's that?
under pressure
That
from
was the simulator for
They were
cars.
watching in the
Cars,
dome
okay.
at Imagineering,
Yeah.
like a previs of a ride. The dish.
So
They call it the
beautiful.
dish.
Early on in the
The Disney dish.
there was a standard.
The original.
That was the
name.
precursor to Disney
yeah.
Plus.
You
In
were
the
on the same
90s,
way.
they're going to have the Disney
Yeah.
dish.
You were right there with me.
Something even beyond that, beyond really their own imagining.
These are beautiful shots.
So they left thinking, wow.
It's really well put together.
We're asking, how did Disney do that?
We're not skipping the intro. But we're lagging so much.
It's a cool intro.
It is
Like
awesome.
blueprinty type drawings.
It's very Game of
models.
Thrones-esque.
Yeah, it is.
Every show starts like this. Now, what's the show on Amazon that starts like that too? Oh, Man in the High Castle.
Yeah.
It's like
I didn't
that
see
too. Yeah. There's
This
things
might
and
surprise you.
shit.
I didn't see that.
You haven't seen anything. This is actually the first thing you've ever watched in your
this
life.
is true. What is this device we're watching this on?
So you see, Pete, Walt Disney made this thing called cartoons.
Shh, I'm learning.
Career of pushing the art of animation. From pen and ink, indelible characters sprang to life, full of personality, humor, and drama. Audiences empathized with animals who taught them about humanity. He entertained
Angela
viewers
Bassett.
by touching the
Oh,
heart
is
the
that?
narrator.
Really?
Okay.
Isn't that weird?
making
No, I like it.
It's a weird choice.
Innovative, high-risk projects have been a hallmark of Disney. It
Yep.
pioneered synchronized sound, full color, and multi-plane dimensional depth. Feature-length cartoons made him a master storyteller.
And now cast members can trade in their main gates
For
for
this.
Disney Plus.
They can just come here
Really
to the
pushing
studio.
the envelope
We would have
now.
let any of them in if they had a fire stick that worked.
And the rising cost of animation. From make-believe, he applied wholesome values to live
So this is all-
and real-world documentaries.
What I didn't like was this starts with kind of a fallacy. Walt Disney left his company basically because his brother wouldn't let him do his park. And he only came back. His brother's like, we have to diversify the business if we're going to build your park. And that's why he did live action stuff.
Right.
That was like the agreement between the brothers.
But I love that.
Yeah, but they don't mention that. They don't talk about that.
You never think of a double back.
It's documented.
Hold on. Walt is speaking, please. It's like church.
But this is Disney's view on it, right?
It's not.
It's
supposed
the
to be.
current
It's a
day Disney's
documentary.
view.
merry-go-round, and when I took them different places, and as I'd sit there while they
It was also done by Leslie Iwerks, not Disney, technically.
She's not, yeah. But they obviously want the contract.
Yeah, so
there should be
you
something,
walk a fine line.
some kind of amusement enterprise built where the parents and the children could have fun together.
Don't you think he got like friendlier and more loving looking as he got older? Like he looks like more conniving as a young guy,
Oh yeah.
He looks like a
and now he looks like
slickster,
everyone's
yeah.
best friend as he grows
Yeah.
older. Yeah.
He talked with the idea.
Uncle Walt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
True.
Across the street from his studio. But when the Burbank City Council feared a carnival atmosphere invading the city,
Burbank.
they rejected the proposal, and Walt.
It's like the size of, what do you think that's the size of right now in comparison?
Oh, it's not nearly the size
it's like
of the park.
what,
Yeah.
just the Jungle Cruise?
It was
definitely
like
smaller than the
yeah, it was like
Kilimanjaro Safari.
1/4 maybe the
Yeah.
size of the park.
Oh,
But he
Marty.
didn't want it. It wasn't supposed to be a big thing at first. The idea grew as time went on.
Yeah. If Walt is the Pope, he's a bishop. We gotta listen.
In 1952, Walt formed a new company named WED Enterprises, from his initials, Walter Elias Disney. Its sole purpose? Design and build his growing idea called Disneyland. Concept work began before funding was secured. He scouted people from his own animation studio who were accustomed to communicating visually and who possessed a spirit of innovation. No one better defined this type of Renaissance man than John Inch.
Walt was always looking for talent.
Like we're just watching it now.
Oh,
I mean, it's
so good.
great.
Well, these are really important parts to listen to. I feel like.
And if somebody was really interested in the work they were doing, as most of us were, we got to do other things.
Since
If you had to rank, in your opinion, Tom, the top 3 Imagineers, who would they be?
From animation
Mark
to
Davis.
story to backgrounds
Probably
to
John.
effects, he mapped all traits
It's hard.
and brought a keen color sense everywhere he went.
Maybe Harriet then. Maybe Harriet Burns. I don't know. Those are my favorites. I feel like.
Favorites, so you're not talking about made the biggest impact, but they're your
Mark
personal favorites.
Davis has got to be.
Yeah, but your personal favorites.
Yeah.
Mine is obviously Joe Rody, number 1.
Have to.
I
Yeah.
mean, Joe's great.
People that have had some motion picture experience.
You hear this a million times, but it's still amazing that movie people.
That's some cool behind the scenes of
Yeah,
20,000
it's
Leagues.
amazing.
Yeah.
A theme or an idea. or
Here's what's crazy too. You ever think about if like Joe Rody was, say, like 30 or 40 years older and like was around for the Walt days? I feel like he is like probably the most this Imagineer-esque in the current day. He's got to fight with current
A lot of
management.
those guys from the 80s worked with some of these guys before they passed.
But now they have to fight with current
So-
management as opposed to like back in the day where it was like you get to go nuts.
Oh, things are different, yeah.
Yeah. Like, what do you think could have been done?
They were eccentric.
Well,
It's like casting a great orchestra.
That's so cool.
You have a tuba playing, you
Huh.
have a bassoon.
That's fantastic.
Like the WDWNT studios.
wow.
And get this sound, and I think the rubbing of these various personalities really.
Not far from the truth.
You know,
Walt Disney later called this original
here you go.
Imagineering.
We need a dress code.
Captures both imagination
We need cool black and white photos of us.
We should. Like a nice sepia or something.
Yeah.
Albertino.
Pete is Albertino.
I was going to say, that's my man right there. At the same time, it's so sick.
reality. Next, he needed a location.
To the Batcopter.
To the what looks like the least safe helicopter of all
Is
time.
that really what they flew
That
around
looks
in?
like literally an Imagineer built that.
He was just going down the freeway.
Yeah.
Isn't that? But didn't they have all those crashes? Remember when they used to do the LA to Anaheim transits, and they had like 2 or 3 crashes, so they shut it down.
Well, I guess so.
Walt was ahead of everybody else, and he'd take the gamble because he was a
Obviously, flying on that thing is taking a gamble.
Right.
It looks like it was built out of an erector set.
I mean, that's not too far from what I flew around in. It's a
Look at
traffic
Anaheim.
helicopter,
That's
though.
nuts.
Crazy.
Look at Anaheim. That's insane.
freeway.
It looks exactly the same.
Sure. There's Garden Walk.
Way down there, we're going to get to it.
Walt's like, Captain Kids is
I
right
was gonna say,
there.
is Walt already in costume? Like he's like, all right, I gotta look like a farmer because I'm in farmland.
Those are Sunday clothes.
Because there were a lot of
Would Herb Ryman be in your top 10?
including
Oh,
his
yeah.
brother, Roy Disney, who handled all
Best
I always
concept.
feel bad for Roy.
Yeah, his artwork is
the
amazing.
losses incurred when World War II closed off its European market. Animated feature films were more expensive than ever. Walt and Roy constantly argued over the park project. Banks refused to invest in what
It gets into it a little, but it never talks about him leaving.
But I feel like poor Roy. He always gets like the short end of the stick. Like everyone loves Walt, obviously, but like he kept the company afloat.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't think he gets disrespected. There was a balance to them.
He said, "You're going to do it."
Over a lost weekend, Herb Ryman drew the first full-scale aerial
amazing.
schematic of Disneyland.
Yeah.
Walt had unassailable confidence in his convictions. He believed in this thing. And when he looked at
That's
you,
so cool.
you've got to believe it too. He could convince you that this was going to be the greatest thing that ever happened. And then afterward, the hypnotic spell would work. And you think, well, no, what if it fails?
What the short
What if the
tie?
people don't like it? What if,
Yeah.
what if it's
Gotta try to
too
bring
far
that
away?
back.
What if they can't afford it? But anyway, that's Walt's problem.
I feel like all Walt's haircuts are the same as Michael Scott. He had the full comb back, the comb over.
Walt and Roy saw an opportunity. Armed with Herb's initial drawing,
Roy's like sweating.
Look,
Walt's
they have the
laughing.
Disney Plus in the background. Lady and the Tramp, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
By the way, if you have not seen 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, it's on Disney Plus, and you should go watch it.
Thank you, Tom.
It's
I
a
will.
great film. You should.
It's the first classic film I'm going to go watch after I watch
Yeah,
the new stuff.
anytime he says if you haven't seen something, it's me.
I love that.
I think a lot of people haven't seen 20,000 Leagues.
No, you're right.
I want you to share with
So
us
good.
our distant registry. That's it, right here. Disneyland. Seen from about 2,000 feet in the air
So
and
cool.
10 months away.
Walt captivated audiences with a turn-of-the-century Main Street.
Walt knew
inspired by his
to show
hometown
people models
porcelain
on television even before Disneyland opened.
It's amazing.
Is the plaza. The plaza or the hub.
He understands the use of media more at that point than the company does now.
Unbelievable.
Like in promoting the park.
interests. A home for his animated film characters.
Because I feel like he wouldn't fight it, and I feel like the current company now tries to control their own
There's
media.
too many
and fight
hands
it.
in the pot.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like it would be so easy just
Too
to.
many people need to approve it.
You're Disney, like everyone loves you to begin with. It's very simple to make. Okay, here, let's just put this out there.
Yeah.
They can control their own destiny.
Well, they don't use specials to promote the park anymore. They use it to promote
And that's all
their
I wanna
IPs and
watch.
everything.
Yeah.
So just give me that behind the scenes of everything they're working on.
Yeah.
Walt could recoup the cost.
They can make hour-long commercials of upcoming projects and they don't do it.
Yeah.
That's really what
Well,
it
now
yeah.
with this,
That'd be
maybe they
fantastic.
will.
That'd
Maybe
be
someone will be like,
great.
"This is
I
great
guess-
Disney Plus content."
I guess they do that during the Christmas parade.
They used
But they're
to,
short.
but-
It's
But it's
gotten
short. It's like
shorter over the
7
years.
minute,
Like
5 minute
Regis used to
things.
go check out Alien Counter for
Right.
5 minutes,
Yeah.
and now I feel like it's like 30 seconds of Galaxy's Edge. And like we're
Now
out.
it's Whoopi Goldberg being like, "This is amazing," and they cut back.
The one thing they did great, Avatar.
Yeah.
That week of programming on ABC
Yeah.
was really great.
But that land in general was great. I feel like because they finally
It was a
maybe
good preview.
They
Got people
needed that
excited.
jolt from another outside company, and I feel like Jim Cameron and his
It
team.
was really a philosophy of how to move people, inspire them to keep moving.
The TWA rocket, which
Yeah.
is now the Pizza Planet
I
rocket.
think that's what crashed right outside my house in Long Island.
One.
Sorry. We just keep moving. Is that too soon?
Oh, here's Bob.
There he is. He was just at the Orlando Library a few weeks ago.
He was. In a mob.
I went and I
Him in a
talked to him.
mob.
Yeah.
I went to North Hollywood High School, and of course, post-war cars were
He told us the exact story.
He only, they all, like, it's not to detriment, it's the same for anybody.
Yeah,
like, even
of course.
if you and I became famous, like, you only have so many stories
Tell me how
can
you got
tell
famous.
people.
Yeah.
And so if you see these guys a couple times,
Tom,
you hear,
if
like,
you got famous,
you'll hear, like, all 20 of those. This is why I love this show.
that's so
this
good.
color
That's awesome.
footage
Yes.
of them building Disneyland
They're
is
really painting
fantastic.
Peter Pan there.
There's some great. Look
And
at them
this is
driving
so
Autopia
cool.
cars
On
onto
dirt.
the track for the first time.
that's so cool. Oh, that's
railroad.
awesome.
You know?
That's so cool. That's amazing. Noah's Ark? Oh,
No, the pirate ship restaurant.
of
Presented by Chicken of the Sea. Tuna.
course.
Look small.
It was small.
Yeah. That's awesome in the middle.
Yeah.
And all well, that's Peter Pan with no
Yeah.
like no
Yeah.
theming. You're
Yeah.
just sitting on this
Shell.
flat thing
Yeah.
that's hung from the ceiling.
Texas lady
Here's Harriet.
came to work every day, beautifully dressed, and
Marty had a crush.
she could do all the
I think they all did.
the men were doing, whether it was using a power saw or getting up on a ladder and repairing something.
But Harriet was I think he'll say it. Harriet was like one of the boys, like she could go drink for drink with them and
One of the boys.
yeah.
What?
Yeah, but I mean we've heard that story a million times. Like she would go drink for drink with all of them, man.
Had a unique situation being just three of us in this shop. Fred was a union model maker, and Waco was very talented in both mechanical and electrical. And then I had this artistic display background. The combination was good for all of us. We helped each other.
It's a lost art models.
That's
Lost
so cool.
art.
3D in a model to the final production.
It's literally art. Like, what do you think?
Oh,
It would be
it's
worth
on-
if they still had like.
This group of people might have been the most talented group of artists to ever live.
Surrounding the
Which
I know we operate in this fandom, but I mean, regardless of the fact that it was an entertainment
No, you're right.
company, just endless talent. And you don't talk about Bill Evans enough. I mean, what this guy did, how much placemaking they needed to do with foliage because they couldn't afford to build any more stuff.
Yeah.
And even, she'll talk about it here.
Is this when they talk about where they couldn't afford more plants, so he put the
Yeah,
names of like roots? And
Yeah, they
of-
don't tell
yeah.
that story here,
Oh.
but she talks about how for the Jungle Cruise they put, like they bought a couple. Alice talk about it, but they put a couple of trees he found that would fit the theme, but then the background was just orange trees because they couldn't afford to do anything else.
And I thought it was very funny that they'd have to send people in to get all
Yeah, that was one of my favorite stories. Again, I've never seen this yet, where they say one of the genius things by him is they couldn't afford more plants, so they were just weeds growing. So he put the scientific names of weeds.
Yeah.
So when people walk by, they were like, "Oh, that's interesting," and it was just weeds growing along the trail.
awesome, yeah.
Yeah, it's super cool. Who thinks of that? That's a genius.
director, Harper Goff.
That's
that
the
tie.
man.
There's that tie.
The man who
Yeah.
made the Nautilus.
Trenches in a small
I
sandbox
dig the short tie.
created the
Maybe
layout.
one week we
This
should do
is
that, man.
fantastic. Driving
this?
through the Jungle Cruise ride path.
In a Disneyland hearse. That's amazing.
Looks like the Ghostbusters
Yeah, it
car,
does,
right?
yeah.
The Ecto-1.
The
That's so
attraction
cool.
became a marvel of spatial manipulation. innovation.
Look at that.
That's so cool.
Imagine like no computers. Like
Yeah.
these guys just put stuff in places. They just eyeballed it.
Yeah.
It is wild watching this in this generation, being like, oh, that's still cool. But like this is like you said, no computer, no technology, like
And no one had done this before.
yeah,
Exactly.
and just
No
like
one had built a
inventing it.
fake
Yeah,
boat cruise through a jungle.
Yeah.
Everything wasn't
This is
sweet.
great.
this is so cool.
Walt just came down
Are we gonna take breaks for us to cry and then come back to?
Oh, they'll cry later, probably. Crying part will come.
I already want to. This is just.
I mean, they found some great footage for this. It's really
Well,
phenomenal
they
that
worked
this
hand in hand with
exists.
WDI, and I think they
And
had
how
a lot
come we
of
haven't
stuff.
seen this yet somewhere?
I think WDI is very protective.
It's
of a
so
lot of
crazy this
stuff.
day and age to see things that I haven't seen, like that hasn't been released somewhere.
This is what worry is.
I mean, they don't even want to release ride videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Crazy.
Disney was a very
This has to be like I love shots like this. Like so like when I went on the Walking Walt's Footsteps tour in Disneyland and sitting in his apartment, I tried to imagine like what Walt must have felt like looking out and seeing a dream become a reality, and like just seeing his happiness there driving through.
Well,
Like,
they're talking about how miserable he was leading up because
of
nothing.
course,
was
but like
going-
seeing it completed,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this is something in your brain, and like even James Cameron talks about how he had a dream when he was a kid about Avatar, and it came to life, and now it's a real land. And that's one land. He created an entire park, a world, created things that have never been done.
Yeah.
Disney employees pitched in donations.
They're paving
Yeah.
the Tahitian
Disney employees
terrorists.
pitched in donations. When does that happen? Except for here, WWNT again. By the way, I need that 20 back.
He cashed a life insurance policy
Face of growing
to finish the park.
It's amazing.
As construction entered the home stretch, labor disputes erupted over the long hours. Record rainfall flooded many areas, while the riverbeds leaked and remained dry.
Nothing worked out.
Big name sponsors, the cost spiraled out of control. By opening day, he and his company has spent $17 million, triple the original budget.
$17 million in 1955 is a
Going to
lot
a trillion now.
A lot of money.
Not a trillion, but it's insane.
just running as fast as you can and getting as many people.
Santa Fe sponsored this railroad?
I don't remember what the deal was with that. I think they kind of were. Yeah.
Gonna have to shoot
That's a great spot for a sponsorship, right in the front gate.
He didn't want sponsorship, but he had to in the end
They
to
ran out of
finish
money.
the park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have had Kohler toilets around back then.
Look how close they
Opening
were.
day.
Yeah, look at
It's
that.
a merchandise release line.
He should have had the little giant.
Funko Pop release.
Yeah.
He had Little Giant sponsor the ladders of people sneaking in on the backside.
Of the nation. 22
Disney Parks blog was there to live stream the festivities.
23 million people watched from their living rooms, longing to be there.
To be fair, there's only 3 television networks, so they had to watch something.
There's something amazing though about a single program reaching. Imagine 83 million people watching this live.
Yeah.
Like that's incredible.
And here you, they say
We've lost something in the delusion of the delusion of media.
Of a community watching something at once, like the first steps of
Yeah.
the moon, and
There's too many options.
the hope that it will be a source of faith and inspiration to all world.
oh man, this kind of stuff gets me. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at how many of those people had fake tickets.
The hottest day of the
Why is no one going to Disney California Adventure instead?
They did. They parked in it. Look at this.
Wow.
It's New Year's Eve.
going into the blacktop.
Do they know there's a DJ in Mexico?
It was
Oh,
the
boy.
best
I'm sorry.
Look at this.
China.
terrible
That's what they thought Galaxy's Edge was going to look like when it opened.
Well, you open with one ride. Like that's like Disneyland.
Look at
saying,
this. It's the guy's name and 69 persons.
What, dinner for
That was
two?
good for 70 people, that
Wow.
ticket.
Vending machines.
But also, Galaxy's Edge, just to put this into terms, is like opening Disneyland and being like, well, we're just going to open Fantasyland today, and Tomorrowland opens in 3 months.
First strike, Walt had to decide
Yeah.
whether to
Toilets?
finish the
Or
drinking fountain or get the toilets done. He was accused later of forcing people to buy Coca-Cola because there were no
The
drinking
line from Walt was, people can drink Coke and Pepsi, but they can't pee in the street.
Yeah.
Look at the landscaping just not done.
Yeah.
It just wasn't ready.
The attitude that they were going to ride those cars no matter what.
So this was the soft opening. When did they officially open? How much?
This was the opening.
No, like when did they? So when he gave that speech and everything else, wasn't there like a hard opening?
Look at, I had never seen this footage of the actual crashes on the Autopia before they put the tracks in. Like they'd never
No
shown
one
this before.
anticipated that.
This was literally like. This is so good.
Oh,
It's actually like LA traffic.
Teacup ride was mechanically falling apart.
That's so cool that ride hasn't changed since opening day.
I mean, it has.
It's still the same
How it
concept.
works as it, but
No,
they,
I'm saying like they put a roof over it and everything else. But I'm saying,
well, the Disneyland still doesn't have a roof. They have the lanterns.
yeah.
Look at those great characters.
Look at it, just dirt along Storybook Land
But no,
Canal.
I'm saying,
Boat.
didn't they? This was the soft opening, or you can call it the hard opening. But didn't they have like an official opening?
This was the grand opening.
Yeah, yeah.
July
Dick Nunes.
17th.
Oh,
Yeah, Dick Nunes. In charge of operations at Disneyland for many years.
You know, I could go on and on and tell you disaster stories, but somehow we made it.
he seems so friendly from the stories I've heard.
He's nice if you don't work for him.
Yeah.
That's the story.
I can identify.
Are they going to show Ronald Reagan?
There he is.
I don't think so.
Walt had pulled off what many thought
He's
possible,
of course.
but now
Yeah.
he had to maintain it. While the Imagineers worked out
I wanna do
the
that.
kinks, crowds,
You want to go up on the
perspective.
castle? Like that?
Those are actually tiny little people.
the 1 billionth visitor.
Forced perspective people.
Yeah.
When the media continued to criticize the number of unfinished depictions, Walt responded,
The media criticizing Disney for rides not opening on time? What?
No.
We don't do
Some
that.
things never change.
This is where the world of today is left behind.
There you go. There's the official opening page.
This is a
Exactly,
great
the official
no.
opening.
This is a great film. The People and Places film. If you haven't seen this, it's really
Now that
great.
it's in color, it's real.
Disneyland is an experience.
There's something so cool about that you can experience that same view and shot kind of today.
Yeah.
The horse pulling it.
That's what makes Disneyland special.
Yeah.
It's like this museum piece in a lot of ways.
How you see it,
It's a
like
charm.
that's why
which you assimilate all of that.
First time I went, it seemed exactly what I've been seeing for years as a kid, and I was just like, "Wow, like this is exactly just the same." And
Yeah.
like you want to take your kids, but
touching,
also like
yeah.
I want to take my dad. My dad hasn't been here since I was 7 or 8 years old, and I want to bring him down to show him and be like, "You would love this too."
Everything was art directed, so really it's stepping into a dream. Whereas John Hetch would say, you know, going from one land to the next was like making a motion picture dissolve, and that everything was thought of cinematically. There wasn't anything.
Skyway
There's that
just
pirate
made
ship
its
restaurant.
miraculous return this year.
At the end of the day, it's an experience.
By the way, can we talk about how that flag retreat is so much better at Disneyland than it is in Walt Disney World?
Oh yeah.
Like I sobbed like a baby at Disneyland, and here it's like, well, we lowered the flag.
Changed or transformed by the end of the film.
Early on, Walt grasped the park's greater
MC Hammer Pants.
He urged the engineers to stand in line with the guests, to listen and learn.
Which I think is a big thing they don't do today.
Yeah.
I think management and Imagineers, I don't think people spend enough time in the park to really see what's going on. Like they do the first couple days when things open, but they don't like come back and do it.
Yeah,
I feel
and just
like.
hang out. Or even like
Yeah.
their lower management, the people who are front line, they don't take what they say seriously. They don't ask their
No.
opinion.
Yesterday, he was only interested in what you were going to do.
That same tour I was talking about, Walking in Walt's Footsteps, my tour guide she was in her early 70s, was an original employee of
Oh, I had her too.
Disneyland. Yeah,
I
she
know
was
you're talking
amazing. And she was telling us stories where like Walt would come up and she's like, we would try and act all, our best for Walt, but she's like, he would just literally just ask us like, how's everything going? Like, what's new? Like, what's happening?
Was his hobby. He loved it. It wasn't like business for him. It was his hobby. He
And a passion.
yeah.
What do you have Roy for?
This thought,
It was his sandbox.
just been a sort of a dress rehearsal. We're just getting
I
started.
love that photo.
So let
Yeah.
you start to rest on your laurels. I mean, just forget it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like you accomplish the impossible with Disneyland, and then it's like, well, let's keep pushing it.
Yeah.
He wanted to get things done
What's the
sooner.
next great
And I think that
thing?
he was really never satisfied because he kept reaching for that intangible quality called perfection. And how do you know when you reach it? So you keep reaching.
Nothing changes faster than tomorrow. Walt knew that soon tomorrow becomes yesterday. The 1959 Tomorrowland makeover.
I don't see a name tag or a hard hat.
What he called plussing the park. He invested profits into improving
Disney plussing the park.
but sometimes his creativity clashed with day-to-day operations.
They knew what
I
they were
used to
saying.
argue like Homer.
If only he can get that to work.
It takes friction to make motion. And I said, well, sir, we really need a thrill show attraction. And then he said, Dan, you notice this isn't an amusement park. I said, I know, sir, but I said, surely our creative people can come up with a concept. He said, you're going to get your thrill show attraction. We're going to build a scale model of the Matterhorn and put a box.
Dick Nunes wasn't afraid to fight with Walt Disney.
I love that.
Dick Nunes is the man.
I love Dick Nunes.
Yeah. This is also great. You're going to see footage of them riding the Matterhorn without any of the mountain there. It's amazing.
That's so cool.
And oh, by the way, a hole in the mountain because the skyway is going to
What kind of name tag is that? What does it say?
Well, Disney Legend.
Oh,
It's
Legend.
Legend name
Oh.
Yeah.
Here it is. This is
That's so cool.
incredible.
And no seatbelts. Just hold on
Oh,
tight.
of course not.
Yeah.
They also, supposedly, the track wasn't done, so they just put hay bales at the end. And so the cars would just hit the hay
awesome.
bales and they'd get out.
I would prefer that now.
higher each time. To know the dimensions, I had to learn trigonometry which I never got in high school. That's extra math that I have to do in addition.
This is amazing.
Imagine that, building the first tubular steel roller coaster, the first man-made mountain, a ride in a submarine. You're going to have the second largest submarine fleet in the world. And on top of that, you're building the first monorail to function in the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah.
At the
At
same
once.
time.
And where Bob Gurr says, I had to learn trigonometry, and not saying, let's just hire someone who knows trigonometry. It's like, you have to learn
We'll
trigonometry. Like,
we'll figure
even though
it
you know
out.
nothing about this, learn it so we can build it.
Nobody ever gets the chance to see it. It's only a special.
This is amazing going inside the Matterhorn.
Oh, I read
Never
something
seen
about
any
this
of
in a
this.
great review.
Passes all over the world with all the Disney fans. They said, is there really a basketball
In the basketball court?
Yeah.
Where do you think he's going?
The ride operators that worked this attraction, this was their break area.
Disneyland 50th banner hanging up.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's so cool they put this in here. They didn't have to, but this is such like, again,
It's a
something of
great thing
folklore.
to put in.
Bob Gurr.
And Bob Gurr sinking a basket.
Yeah.
And he literally shoots it grandma
Shit's
style.
like my dad.
Unbelievable. Look at the inside of
Look at
that
the sneakers
mountain,
on
man.
it.
That's unbelievable.
Worked this attraction. Their name is in here somewhere, uniquely written. To me, that is just
That's awesome.
it's a
Yeah,
personal
that's so
heart
cool.
connection. No. Because I was not a cast member employee. As the original designer, yes, that's I should be.
Bob's like, yeah, I'll sign it.
Why not?
Wow. Okay. Just sign anywhere, Bob.
He designed the damn thing.
But a cast member cut that out and sold it on eBay 6 days later.
It looked like a door. They just took the whole
He was
door.
tackled reaching for his cell phone. That's right, Angela Bassett.
She knows.
The advent of a monorail. He invited the U.S. Vice President to dedicate its launch.
Al Gore.
Al Gore invented, of course, the internet and the monorail.
You're gonna see me in Disney World in a few years.
This is not a bus.
There is not 2 rails, but 1.
I think the windows are open like ours.
Back then, they didn't even have
That's
windows.
amazing.
Yeah, the Buck Rogers.
Walt, and he said, "Can you build that?" I said, "Yes," and then the meeting was over.
Can you
Can
build
you
it? Yes.
build it?
You don't say no to Walt Disney. That's all it was.
amazing.
He didn't know how he was going to do it. It's like, could you do it? He's like, yeah.
They have the same meetings now. Bob Chapek goes in the room and says, "Can we make it cheaper?" They go, "I guess." And they walk out of the room.
Can we take the windows away? Sure. Oh, Phantom boats, motorboat cruise.
Oh God, this is gonna make me cry. I have to go home and rewatch this alone with a glass of wine.
With a glass of wine.
I can't even watch this right now.
It must have prompted that slogan, Tomorrowland being a world on the move, because there was just activity everywhere.
This is theme park design 101, and Tom Morris will take you
Balloons.
through this.
There was kind of a multi-level
So cool.
creating a visibly interesting environment.
Exactly.
These levels.
Yeah.
Look how interesting that is.
Yeah. Even if you're not riding something or waiting in line, it's fun to
It's
look at
a
things.
good
Look,
atmosphere. This is why Galaxy's Edge didn't work. There's no kinetic energy. There's nothing moving.
If
1955, they figured this out.
Yeah.
like they have mermaids.
Live entertainment, a big part too. Yeah, I mean, look at Animal Kingdom. That puppet show just debuted. People stopping
Amazing.
and
I love it.
I've never seen people so happy in that park.
And what investment is that? A tiniest little investment, and
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
And
These
people-
guys, I love these guys.
Yeah, this was great.
Just going
Climbing
down
the
monorail,
spire
just
of the
seeing them,
two.
like,
To the spire, and they start climbing it.
And this is footage from the Disneyland 61 TV special, which another thing everybody should watch.
Is it on
They
Disney
should be doing
Plus?
TV
It's
specials
not
all the
yet. I
time.
think it's all gonna be, but it's not yet.
So we're down at Disneyland.
Listen, Tom, you joined in '89. You should be on episode 2.
And that's why it's the worst and best thing you can do with Walt Disney, because the next thing you know, now you've got a job fixing the things that you pointed
Sorry,
out.
guys, I haven't brought you in for a hug in a while.
Bring it in.
And now we get to God.
Here we go.
There he is. Mark Davis.
Well, that's it for this episode. We'll see you guys.
Characters like Melissa, Cruella de Vil, and Tinkerbell. Known for his dry wit, Mark told stories through visual gags. He brought a much
I mean, an incredible animator to begin with.
Like flying out of a castle.
When I started working down there was nothing that was funny in any of the attractions that I can recollect.
Mark will just tell you how it is. Mark didn't care.
Yeah.
I love it. But isn't that like very like, it's kind of like all the Imagineers. Like Dick Nunes will tell you how it is. He just
Yeah. Mark was very outspoken.
That sort of thing to that. And I think that Trap Safari was probably the first lap.
But Mark's my favorite because I think like
Well,
I
he was
didn't
years
realize
ahead of his time.
until you learn later. Like all my favorite things in so many attractions were things Mark did, and you find out later. I'm like, God, I just really love everything that man did in particular.
I wish like one of his kids something like found all of his stuff that they cut. That things he really like everything that
The
Is it
book,
in the book? Yeah.
is
the
it-
book
is it
just
in the
came
book?
out. You
The
have
huge
to get the book.
volume, yeah.
The book is amazing.
All right, I have
It
to.
is absolutely
Because I'm sure there's
unbelievable.
so many things.
There's so many canceled projects in that book. It's worth every penny.
Johnson, no. Maybe they're little mechanical birds.
The birds will poop in the food.
I guess
They
they're
got
gonna
to be
concerned.
mechanical.
All got started.
Now we're making these audio animatronic figures. See our whole 40-some-odd years.
Imagine that the world was introduced to robots
Inanimate things move.
by an entertainment company.
And what's crazy is how many years later we're still calling them audio animatronics, and they're still doing the same thing, and they're still interesting to people.
yeah.
They haven't really been reinvented.
Oh, they've gotten
They
more
have,
and
but I
more
mean, like,
more lifelike.
But
yeah.
what besides like say, oh man, what's
Trying to synchronize
like what was the dinosaur that roamed the park?
animation.
Oh, Lucky?
Yeah, like stuff like that. I feel like is the next level, but even that didn't last.
Having audio
I don't know why. I don't know if there's a money thing or why they decided living character was
Because
not.
really, they're still using the same. I mean,
and that would actually
sort of kind of the same technology. They haven't really advanced the audio animatronic.
motion.
I mean, it doesn't run the same way. It's not these big discs.
Of course, I mean
I
obviously
think
it's
that-
all
yeah.
electronic now, and it's not hydraulic and
Yeah.
everything else. But what I'm saying is,
Pneumatic.
for being 60, 70 years old,
It's
have
one
we
of
made a
those-
big leap
yeah.
compared to going?
Well, it's
from
one
what
of
it
those
was?
advents in entertainment that you only plus over time. It's not a thing that'll ever be replaced.
No, but Walt invented it. Why do we even done something better since?
They've gotten
upside.
better though.
They've gotten better, but we've
get
taken
more
the same
lifelike.
technology and made it better. There's not anything new.
What do you
like-
want
Mr.
them to
Potato
do?
pulls his ear out.
What I'm saying is like
them
things
to
like
clone.
Lucky, where it's free room, and you go, "How is this working?
Oh, yeah, I
How
don't
is
know why
this
they won't do
happening?"
that stuff.
That is unbelievable for a child, even for an adult. It's like this is a free roaming character that can interact, can do things, and everything else, as opposed to being in a set place.
Yeah.
That is moving the technology
sure.
forward.
Experiment in many ways.
Bunsen honeydew and a beaker.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Muppet Mobile Labs. Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like that is moving the technology forward to me. Is where you go, wow, this is something special.
For what happened afterwards. This is what we call our Imagineering department.
This shot
where we
is
dream up
amazing.
our new projects.
What do you think that sweater would go for at auction if they had
The
it?
Small World rooster in the back, the dinosaur models in the front. Oh, Flushing
Original
Meadow,
shots of Epcot. Oh,
Flushing Meadows, Queens.
Long Island, baby.
I've been there.
My dad was here at this World's Fair.
My parents went several times.
Yeah, my dad was at this one. He had dinner in that around the world restaurant where the spaceships take off from Men in Black.
Men in Black, yeah.
That wasn't a restaurant.
It was.
The restaurant's still there. It's a spinning thing. It's on the other
But
side.
it was up one of those two or a restaurant.
No, they were observation decks.
There was a restaurant.
There is a restaurant. It's still there. It's across from the Hall of Science. It's still there. The spinning restaurant.
Are you calling my dad a liar?
No, I'm just saying he's saying he has things mixed up. It was definitely a thing. It just was in a different building.
All right.
Combination of storytelling and
You're probably right because he calls me my brother's names all the time.
Ford Mustang and ride through a ride. Knowing that Walt had to have showmanship combined with
Riding through a theme park ride in a car.
innovative ways really
Imagine
stood out
that.
at the fair. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Disney shows were so popular.
Bringing Ellen. They don't kill.
I mean, this is the precursor. This is the legacy of that attraction. Yeah.
In Southern California, the Imagineers created a primeval world for the fair.
A primeval what?
World.
No, I'm teasing.
Not world.
Yeah, I'm teasing.
That is,
Because we want it to work.
I call it my
There were
backyard
13 dinosaurs.
workshop. Wait for it. Some of the things I was planning, like Disneyland, for example, pretty hard for the bankie's mind to go.
They're so great.
I had to go ahead
There's
on
Gertie.
my own.
Throw more leaves in.
Selfies, what you have in your mind, so you have to go ahead and develop. That's what I've been doing with Web. I can do things in Web without asking anything, even my wife.
Where's where I go to
That
be
makes
free.
Walt so human though. Like it's just like he's a real person.
It really is his playground.
He says,
Yeah.
I don't work over here, I come to play. We kind of looked at Wed as his sandbox. He could come over and play around with all of his ideas.
We use those in Animal Kingdom this year.
I don't believe Walt ever felt he was working. He was having a good time at his hobby. We were like part of a big party. It was not like a job.
Well, think about the ability to run your own theme park. I mean, that was such a great concept that it became a successful video game franchise, right? I mean, Roller Coaster Tycoon, and now there's how many
Love that
game.
spin-offs
For
of
years,
that.
yeah.
and- Yeah, I mean, that would be the coolest job in the world. I mean, I don't blame it.
I have the newest version on Switch.
No one did live. Yeah, no one did live, like large scale amusement parks till after Disney.
But he also
They were county fairs.
he didn't have to answer to like investors, right? A board.
After a while, yeah.
Yeah.
He did eventually.
I mean, well, there were sponsors and his brother he had to deal with. I mean, in the
His
beginning.
brother actually had to deal with those people, not Walt.
But by this point, the part was successful. But then, even to develop all this stuff, he was using corporate money. I
Yeah.
mean, this is the money of
Right.
the state of Illinois and
But this
Ford.
is when it was still private, so he could
Pepsi-Cola.
take his money and say, "I'm going to spend the money the
Oh
way I
yeah,
want."
I mean,
Right.
And he was
going
always bettering
public,
the company.
Going
Yeah.
public ruins the creativity of any company.
of
I mean,
course.
historically, that's just the way it is.
How do you do an animated
Yeah, look at WeWork now.
By the way, wdwnt the stock coming soon,
Yeah.
right?
Save your core bucks.
You turn them in for stock shares.
Yeah, let's get the legs up.
Oh goodness.
Watch what we were doing and what we were making and offer some
There's thinner tie, but still short.
because none of that had been done
Yeah.
before or within existence.
I don't even know where to find those short ties. I gotta
When he would have a
look
glimpse,
on
I
eBay.
can help you.
Yeah, you got me.
he
All
would
right.
sit
We'll
down
get
on
him.
the floor and he'd go right through the oak chair and everything. They thought
Wow.
maybe
So the Lincoln figure would sit down so hard it would just take out the chair.
It's amazing though.
Imagine that going to the fair and there's just a robot. Like first time in your life, there's a robot Abraham Lincoln.
Imagine just like telling the team, "This is what I want to build." And they go, "What?"
We're gonna build a robot.
I
human.
wanted it to be so realistic you think it's Abe Lincoln. They go,
But
well,
they didn't say no. They're just like, okay,
We'll
let's
figure it
do
out.
it.
Yeah.
They just made a robot, man. Now it's like we can't get decals to stick on the walls in Toy Story Land.
Yeah.
These guys are like, a robot, sure.
We're like, I want our Abe Lincoln so real that you think it's actually him.
Oh my
Oh, we'll figure it out.
Never been done before. Right? The military didn't figure it out.
Well,
can
we
do it.
have birds that beaks go click, 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 but I want an Abe Lincoln
If
that
the
can talk.
government couldn't figure it out, I'm sure we could.
The world has never had a
good definition.
Good definition of the word liberty.
There is a real question of how it was done.
Like that little
crying.
kid's freaking out.
Yeah.
He's like, what is this?
He's like,
What is this sorcery?
Yeah.
Do I have to join the union?
Actions and gestures of our audio animatronic figures.
That guy looks real.
All of the operators'
You know,
are made from each of our figures. There's a great big beautiful tomorrow.
Rover has changed so much over the years.
He went from a cat face to a dog
Yeah,
face.
Rover looked terrible.
And the birds are gone.
She looked
she's
frightening, yeah.
Appropriately, the evolution of audio animatronics leapt forward with a carousel of progress. Hydraulic cylinders
Even though they opened the same time. But once Lincoln was done, I guess they figured out some different things they could do.
Of course, the scene out of Saving Mr. Banks.
Well, it sounds pretty good. In fact, that's just the right spirit.
Walt came in, he said, well,
After seeing that, I want to see the boys.
Oh, The Boys is great.
I have an idea.
I assume that's on Disney Plus already.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being the Sherman Brothers? Like, you get in with Walt that early, and then you start doing everything. Like, what would your career be if that meeting never happened? What would you have been?
I mean, they're all so. What I love about all of these people is they're all so grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah.
And you see, like, when they talk about Walt, how they light up, and then any of these documentaries where they talk about him passing away, how emotional they all get. Like, he was a tough boss, but they just had such a respect and admiration for
But yeah,
him.
but if he wasn't tough, they wouldn't have had the acclaim
Yeah.
and the careers they did.
Right.
And it's just, it's
Well, it's
very touching.
Cool how loyal Walt seemed. Like he found people that worked for certain things and he put them on a bunch of
Those are the,
projects.
I think the best leaders in any company are people who just pick out talent. Like maybe even talent that the people themselves don't know they have. I think that's what makes a great company.
Thanks, Tom.
It's like, you know what, you guys would be great at reaction video. That's
You guys have an eye for watching TV.
I've been missing it all these years. Let's just watch a show and talk about it while people watch.
People will watch us watch a video.
For the costume design,
So dumb.
I gotta have Nick.
Oh, Alice.
she reproduced 150 traditional cultural outfits.
I'll find something Nick can do well if it kills me.
I don't care if it takes 4 hours to get it to work. We're gonna make it work. By the spirit of Walt
Guys,
Disney.
I'm trying to hear about doll dresses.
Oh, okay, sorry.
He said, I want you to design a costume for each one of these dolls that every woman would love to have from the age of 1 to 100.
That's it?
And he said,
I mean, the costumes are so great.
with people that
They are.
find out where to get the money.
No attraction in the amusement industry had ever carried more than about 1,500 or 1,600 people. So all of a sudden, the
Yeah, on
water
top of inventing animatronics, new ride system, this
Yeah.
boat ride, which changed everything.
And thought about the capacity of parks and where people
Yeah.
could go and sight lines, like we were talking about, while you're waiting in line, things you can see, but also like how many people can we move? Where are they going to go? What's going to happen?
We had a nice brand new attractions that we put in Disneyland and we didn't have to pay for it.
Isn't it the #2 song behind Happy Birthday? Ever heard?
I don't. That changes all the time.
Like ever sung or heard?
But
or
I mean,
played?
pretty much everyone in the world knows that song. Look at that model. Look at that.
I still love that sweater.
So
I want
beautiful.
to find out where it is.
The billboard.
Yeah, look at that billboard.
Is that one of the bad Orlando billboards?
Exterior facade. Walt wanted a design reminiscent of landmarks around the world. He relied on one of his favorite concept artists from the studio, Mary Blair.
There she is.
Mary introduced modernism to Disney. Her vibrant color styling and graphic composition defined the look of classic films like Cinderella. Underneath her deceptively simple designs lie great complexity.
She was an absolute genius, fantastic with color. The thing that was most interesting, she had very poor eyesight, but she she had this sense of color that was absolutely marvelous.
Look at all that tribal
Nobody
art.
really appreciated her
Davises
as
love
much
their
as they
tribal
should.
art.
People would say, oh, well, she just
Apparently their
puts
whole
color
home just
down.
filled
She
with all
said,
that
"Can you
tribal
put color
art."
down like that?" None of them could.
The beginning of a design is always a difficult time for me. I'm very conscious of the fact that the original concept must do something worthwhile creatively, or all the hard work to follow will be wasted.
What Mary did is she threw away the color wheel and all those theories. She put colors together that in that time period were rarely used, like a pink and orange together, or a turquoise and olive green. I mean, they became
Which are now like colors on uniforms, sports uniforms. Like blue and gold is like a classic.
Yeah, I mean, this whole section they're just talking about the eye she had for color.
Bright colors. She didn't like to use a pastel very often. She was very bold with it. As Mary had that very childlike style, Rowley had a very avant-garde kind of whimsical style.
Yeah.
This Crump?
What a team, yeah.
Because she lived in her little world. I loved Mary's style so much that I knew how to trace her work and make it three-dimensional. We would talk about different shapes and stuff. So I designed the facade of It's a Small World. Walt said, "What are you going to put up there, Rolly?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "Why don't you put a clock up?"
This is already the greatest program I've ever
Little
seen.
ideas,
It's wonderful. It's really
left
wonderful.
just at the right place. At each quarter hour,
Look at that model. Oh, it's so pretty.
gears and springs and wheels are set into motion. The clock actually performs.
Again, what do you think this model sells for at auction today?
It's all destroyed.
No, but let's say it
They
existed.
didn't keep any of that. They
Let's-
didn't know to keep
Tom,
things.
let's pretend and use our
Oh,
imagination.
God,
It exists right now.
$100,000?
Probably more. I think more.
No, probably 100 grand. Maybe
100 grand was what like one of the posters at Haunted Mansion sold for.
Yeah, but
this is a model.
Mansion has like a hardcore fandom, though.
This is one of the OGs.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't feel that way about Small World. It's
I
weird.
bet you.
I do, but I.
If you're a Disney fan, you have to love Small World, even if you think the ride is too long and annoying.
I love Small World. I could ride that over and over.
This notion of
Makes so much sense.
people happy
Oh, Bruce Vaughan.
bringing people together is
He looks great.
We got
What
some
is he,
model
80, 90 at this point?
something that is really worth
1 o'clock. It is 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
We've been here all night trying to set this up.
He looks sharp there, too.
That white suit, yeah. Oh, it's pinstripe. Looked
Yeah,
white.
it's pinstripes, yeah.
Long tie, though.
But that's why you don't think
Epcot in the background.
Yeah. What Epcot you still going?
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's like the Olympics at a Disney park. Like, this is an opening ceremony.
Little did they know, the designers produced a timeless classic. Its message reverberates in every era.
Bank of America already taking money from people back then.
The newly installed World's Fair attractions caused a surge in attendance. By its 10th anniversary, Disneyland had entertained 50
Is Mickey harnessed?
No, no, please. Harnesses were like 6 months ago.
Move forward, opening up new first, doing new things.
Look at that.
Because we're curious.
Yeah.
And curiosity keeps leading
Did
us
they have
down new
seatbelts
paths.
on the Matterhorn when it
We're
opened?
always exploring and experimenting. At Webb,
Maybe?
Yeah.
I feel like we talked about it in the Back to the Future. I don't remember offhand.
You'd have to look back at the
I
date
don't
of
think they
OSHA.
did.
This is a
I wrote a
moment.
line for Walt Disney that he really liked about Imagineering in the early 60s, and it was that Imagineering is the blending of creative
That's
imagination.
an amazing shot.
Yeah.
And
This got me the
look around,
first time I
this is
watched
the
this.
I can't tell which one's real.
attraction at the Express.
Why is Marty Sklar holding a gun?
It's been here since 1967.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And,
You don't have to change much.
company of all the talents of Imagineering.
Look how amazing that
Look
is.
how good that looks, yeah.
And this is from 67. That's what I'm saying, is like, what have we done to advance? Like, it's still cool that we use the technology, but we should be better.
It became a great movie. It's the thing that we all measured ourselves against, no matter what.
I mean, I think I agree with you to a point. I don't. I feel like
They
we
pushed
didn't
the
agree and we didn't advance enough.
It's amazing. I'm not saying it's not amazing. But to me, it's thinking about what they were able to accomplish in the 60s, and now the technology we have in 2019. we still find this amazing. We ride it, we love it, we show our kids and our parents. But
But old movies can be amazing too. I mean,
It's like the whole moon landing thing. I mean, we used the same rockets for decades to go up into space. We didn't advance that.
But people like Walt dare to say, all right, here's what I want, do it. You know?
Insisted the experience unfold around the guest as a cohesive story.
2 times I've been to Disneyland, haven't ridden that yet.
Pirates of the
Oh my
Caribbean?
God! Holy smokes!
What?
Both times that I've gone, it was down.
Oh, it's down. Okay.
Holy
no,
smokes! All
It
right.
was down for me for the
I know, but
2
that's so
times that I've gone.
sad.
Clark was quiet and very introspective. He thought a lot about things before he spoke.
I still believe
More outgoing and very
the greatest thing they've ever done is Pirates.
He knew what he wanted.
It's just so perfect.
He didn't like people to hear from his idea.
Staging and pacing and the scenes and dialogue and music and just everything about it.
I can't imagine being someone from that era going on it when it first opened, seeing all those animatronics and the
It had to
fake
be
fire,
mind-blowing.
and just being like, "Am I actually in a pirate?
Yeah,
like, what is happening
Are
around
they
me?"
actors or are they? Yeah.
Well,
It's
in
like-
our
it's like
lifetime,
VR.
I'm sure everybody had some attraction that was new in your lifetime that you went on where you were like, this is incredible.
I thought Flight of Passage was incredible, but I mean, it wasn't like,
But not like everything has changed.
not like that's changing the world.
Yeah.
I thought this is going to be a stepping stone to something incredible. The fact that my ride vehicle's breathing beneath me, and it's soaring on crack.
I'm thinking the simulators, like that changed everything for me at the point.
What I like about this ride is that it's real around you. I like something that's real around you.
Yeah. Because Star Tours, Back to the Future, that kind of stuff, like those blew my mind.
That's
I went
true.
on them again and again and again.
I was too young, so all that was like at the same time for me. So like, I saw that the first time I saw Pirates and all that.
No, I remember that being new to me, and that was crazy.
Once upon a time, I'm in.
I'm trying to think for me what are like the pivotal ones.
Pirates was supposed to look
Eric, you have one?
chase that
I think
young
it's not
damsel
Disney, but
around several city
Spider-Man.
and he's
Yeah.
From Islands. Like the first time I did that, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I hate screens, so I'm all about immersiveness. So that's why I just can't even imagine in the 60s seeing pirates alive around me, and I'm not wearing glasses or goggles or looking at a screen.
Yeah.
I'm looking at real moving people and things in the 60s.
Well, that's why I said I wonder if people thought they were actors.
Yeah, like it's just
it's a live theater kind of thing, like
pickup truck.
I think for me in recent years, I think two things would be Pooh's Honey Hunt in Tokyo, and then Mystic Manor in Hong Kong. Mystic Manor, but it was more of like Mystic Manor was more of, oh my God, they can still do it. Like it just felt like Pirates and Mansion built in this decade.
I have yet to see a full ride through of that ride because I'm like, I'm gonna make it there someday.
Yeah.
Same.
No, Mystic Manor is.
I don't like ride
I
throughs.
cried.
I want to see it in person for myself. I don't want to.
I
yeah.
teared up
I don't
a
do
couple rides my first time. Sinbad, Journey to the Center of the Earth, and Mystic Manor.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, because I just was like, they can still do it.
Like this scene, like even the first time I went to Disneyland, like this.
The
had
Florida
me.
one sucks.
No,
it's the worst.
I
it's
wouldn't
the
say
worst
it sucks.
Pirates in the world.
If you don't know what you don't know, it's
Oh,
a
you're
great
right.
ride.
Because we did. We loved that
If
forever.
you don't know what you don't know, it's
But
great.
then once you see all of the other ones,
Then
you're
you
like,
go to Disneyland, you're like,
man.
that opening scene just going past the Blue Bayou, you're like, this is already amazing.
Yeah. Well, the pacing is just this big, long adventure.
I
And I think somebody says in this, like, that anticipation builds.
Yep.
Because it's just such a build-up.
I'm out of here.
I mean, I know I cried on Radiator Springs.
Oh, Racer! I forgot about
Yeah.
Racers. Yeah, that was another one too. Yeah.
I mean,
that was a
blew
little
my
longer
mind.
ago. My memory doesn't serve me well.
Um,
But that was even more like the land in total, because it's this
Right.
big packaging. It's like, oh my God, look at the street, and there's the mountain range, and then oh my God, this ride on top of it.
yeah. But the ride made me so incredibly happy.
Yeah.
But I mean, same with Smuggler's Run, the Falcon ride, but in a different way. I have the connection
Yeah.
with the fandom. I don't think it was the technology in that
Yeah,
case.
that's fair.
X got very nervous, and he thought he'd written too much narration. And Walt said,
No, think of it
We're talking about Exitensio, never written a script in his life.
Right.
Wrote, "We wants the redhead," and all of these lines.
because people can come back and go
Come
through
seek an
it
adventure
again,
in salty old
see
pirates,
something
eh?
new, and they'll hear something new.
And then the song. I mean,
When they finished the script, I came up with a lyric. There's no concentration on how am I going to do this. It just happens. Knowing the Disney philosophy, it just becomes second nature.
Pirates of the Caribbean set a new gold standard in park design, a product of its era. But throughout the decades, the Imagineers would adjust the tone of the original to reflect current social events
sure.
and better stand the test of time.
Over time, Imagineers would ruin this. 4 people were offended, and so Imagineers would go back in. I was surprised by this. So they talk about how everyone ripped them off.
Oh.
This is
wow.
amazing.
This is what I was talking about earlier, though, that they invented the theme park. It used to be county fairs.
While others, like SeaWorld and Universal Studios, offered something different. The entertainment
Violence.
business throughout the 60s, Walt stayed ahead of the curve
Huh.
and urged his designers to stick to the formula.
Yeah.
He started a whole new industry.
Yeah, think about how big the theme park industry is. I mean, and Walt Disney invented it.
So I was saying there was only kind of, and now this just became, oh, you can build something in a permanent spot forever.
I'm going to stay with that policy because it's proven that it's a good business policy. Give the public everything you can give them. Keep the place as clean as you can keep it. Keep it friendly. You know, make it a real fun place to be. I think they're convinced, and I think that'll hang on after, as you say, after Disney.
Here's hoping. It's
Doesn't-
a fight.
That
Walt.
doesn't give you chills, though.
We're fighting.
Him saying that in '66.
Imagineers to see if they could compete the world designers. That really gave Walt a lot of confidence.
Finally, a hard hat.
With Project X.
I was worried sick.
The real key was, where should we do the project?
Wow, they cover a lot in this first episode.
Yeah.
Florida came
It's
to
all of Walt's life in this episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
year-round weather.
Which makes me sad that.
Major tourists.
What's the rest of it?
Oh, it'll get it. You'll see the preview for the next episode. I am super excited about
Nice.
the next episode.
These
You'll see.
Walt and his team secretly bought 27,000 acres of
No doubt.
untouched land in central Florida, equal to the size of Francisco.
Yep, right here, right in our
His
backyard.
intention remained unknown.
If they pull out far enough, they can see our
Master site
studio.
planner Mark
Yeah.
Davis, another theme park was secondary to Walt. He wanted to solve the urban problem. After a year
Wow, they jumped right into Epcot already?
I mean, it was his idea. He's alive.
No, yeah, I guess.
Dream set for Florida.
I mean, Epcot is the reason we have Disney World.
For our so-called Disney World project. In fact, the heart of everything we'll be doing in Disney World will be our experimental prototype city on Tomorrowland.
Have we ever talked about this on any
heart-wrenching.
program? That what if you had lived 10 years longer?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Would Epcot have been a success?
Oh, it would have happened. I don't know.
Would it have been a success?
Who knows?
Or is he just?
Everything he touched was a success, so how would it not have been?
Yeah, but it's also like when Grandpa says crazy ideas when he's getting.
But Pete, you're saying this after having watched the first 45 minutes of this, which is literally just this man being like, "I want to do this thing," and people be like, "You're crazy."
No, I agree, brilliant.
And then it opens,
but
you're like,
I don't know. Everyone's had like, my grandpa lives an amazing life, and all
But
of a
look
sudden
at
he's
how ingenious
like, it is
this
ingenious. I'm not disagreeing. I'm
I
asking a
think
question.
yes, I think it would have worked.
It would have been successful.
I think so.
I agree with you. That's
Yeah.
why I was asking the
It
question. I'm not-
needed him to
Yeah.
finish it.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
No one has the balls to try it.
Well, also too now it's a whole different animal.
But there was like legal stuff too, and I mean, obviously management didn't put the faith behind them, especially after Roy died, to make it
cost
happen.
a bajillion more dollars now too, in terms of just like.
Well, you shouldn't do it now, but
No, I'm saying like red tape. Like back then, there wasn't much red
look
tape.
at this.
That's so cool.
Carousel of Progress, the Starjet's platform being built, rocket jets, excuse me.
I didn't see very much of him. I thought he was away on a business trip or something. I didn't
Oh
know.
man.
You're gonna cry.
I
You
know.
got tissues?
I know. No, I'm serious. It's also just thinking about. So I like to put myself in other people's shoes. The people who are just standing there talking with him, knowing, like
know.
watching this now, knowing the impact he's left on the world, and knowing you're talking to one of the, probably one of the most important people in history in our modern day.
Especially his vision for Florida.
We talk about Gutenberg and Spaceship Earth and all these other things. Everyone knows the name Walt Disney around the world today. So imagine being in that meeting, one of those guys, and just having a conversation with Walt Disney. That's what makes me.
And also to have the public appreciate and accept what I've done all these years. That is a great reward.
Oh God, I have to leave again.
Fancy a trip.
Walt Disney died on December 15th, 1966. He was 65 years old.
Did they talk about the conversation with Roy?
Walt Disney
No.
died today in Burbank, California.
Oh.
The man who built an empire on the gossamer threads of fantasy is dead. Bill Conley, the public generally, and high officials have expressed shock and sorrow.
Everybody went to the front office and we were all standing there crying. And it was very hard to take. It was hard to concentrate.
When I got into the parking lot, I looked at Main Street and I saw the flag going down in Town Square. I've never had that experience for anyone else in my life. Like, your whole vitality and everything was drained out. I walked into the park. The music it came upon at midnight clear, and the tour guides were in tears. I can remember
The
it like
footage
it
is
was yesterday. It
amazing.
was so
Amazing.
eerily sad.
The whole group of us, we all went down to a restaurant and celebrated his life and had a few drinks.
Could you imagine being at that table that day? Like, what an incredible moment. Like, all these incredibly creative people just lost their leader. Like, the conversation at that table had to be just amazing.
That's a bit tough.
I just had the feeling that Walt was gone, and we're gonna have a whole new chapter. We'll just have to see how it works.
It will take more time than anybody has around the Daily News shop to think of the right things to say about Walt Disney. It may be true, as somebody said, that while there is no highbrow in the lowbrow, there is some lowbrow in every highbrow. But what Walt Disney seemed to know was that while there is very little grown-up in a child, there is a lot of child in every grown-up. The child, this weary world is brand new, gift-wrapped, and Disney tried to keep it that way for adults. Escapism from reality. He probably did more to heal, or at least to soothe, troubled human spirits than all the psychiatrists in the world.
I love that line.
Yeah.
I always love
We'll never
that.
see it like again.
100%.
The day Walt died, we opened, and it was
I
around
couldn't say it before, but when you were talking about, like, imagine all those guys without their leader, like, you could have a ton of good soldiers, but, like, if you lose that general and you lose that person,
They kept it going, though, man.
no, of course you do the best you can.
Those guys, like, through
for
Epcot
him,
Center.
for
like,
him, for
yeah.
his memory, yeah.
Like, just, they got better. Like, he knew. He put together such an incredible group of people, and he knew, like, even after he was gone, that they would do it. Yeah.
Like, every news tonight would start on time if Tom goes.
Yeah, if Tom's last words were just have the show start on time, we would band together and probably do one on time, and then and then just shut it down, and then just shut it down. Just do more of these. These are nice.
These are easy.
These are easy. It only took 3 hours to set this up.
This was the most emotional 4 hours of my life.
Pete, it was only an hour.
It was a roller coaster.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
All right, play the next one.
There's no. We gotta wait.
Play that Jeff Goldblum thing.
So yeah, can we watch? I need to laugh.
Need something uplifting.
Can we
now.
please play Goldblum?
Oh gosh. Yeah, that was sad. Like wow.
They know
So
what
that's
they're
episode
doing.
1. We're gonna see. Is it gonna automatically play the?
I
play the
also
preview of
love
the
that
next
it's
one?
iWorks and Company.
Yes.
That is so cool.
That's
I love
they
that.
are, yeah.
No, just to like fit I like the other half of the sandwich.
Yeah.
Like
the other half of the.
like he was iWorks was
Yeah.
Disney. Like those were the guys. They were
Yeah, that's fair.
like how far would have Disney have made it with if he never met
Oh, who knows? How
Yeah.
far would they have made it without any of these people
Yeah.
who appeared?
I'm just saying, but like each obviously
Yeah.
butterfly effect, but
I don't know if it's gonna play the trailer or not. I think it's just done.
well, at least the good news is
So that was-
every other thing works except for the Imagineering stories. We can watch something else.
So that was episode 1 of the Imagineering story. We're going to do separately a review, our thoughts, having now seen that episode. But if you're going to be in the Orlando area on November 22nd, you could come watch the next 2 episodes along with us.
No, don't do it.
On November 22nd, all the details are strangely enough, at wdwnewstonight.com. That's where we do our ticket sales for our shows. The $2, of course, goes to Give Kids the World. The full $2 goes to Give Kids the World, a great local charity. And so come join us. We'll watch the shows, and just like this, we'll do a review afterwards. And
Well, I keep doing the same thing over and over again. We gotta plus it every time.
it'll take longer
Yes.
every time. Yeah. So that's our watch along. Hopefully you enjoyed watching the show along with us.